to my channel, A Fairy Tale Mind in the Real World. My name is Rena, and I have another book review for you today. This time we're going to be talking about another book by Margaret Rogerson, Sorcery of Thorns. I just need to say that I really loved this book as well. My previous review should be up before this one. So, An Enchantment of Ravens was a book I read a couple weeks ago, and I read this one. I don't remember when, but yeah, I love them both. I really adore Margaret Rogerson's writing style and her everything, just everything. I just love it. It's amazing. Also, these covers are gorgeous. Look how pretty that is. Anyways, so yeah, I read Sorcery of Thorns, having thoroughly loved Enchantment of Ravens, so I was kind of going in with like expecting I'm going to love this one as well, and obviously I was not disappointed because I love this book too. And so this is completely different from her other one, and the fact that it's set in a completely different world, no connection at all from what I can tell. This book is set in a world where grimoires are, you've probably heard of them before if you like reading, but grimoires are usually books held by powerful magical using people, sorcerers, wizards, things like that, and the book itself contains power, kind of almost has a mind of its own, and only powerful magicians can use them. So basically in Sorcery of Thorns, grimoires are kept in libraries, and the libraries have people who are called wardens who keep track of them. They use salt and chains to bind the grimoires, to keep them sleepy, to keep them calm and mellow, so that way they do not cause havoc and destruction. Elizabeth is raised in a library. She was an orphan. She was taken in by the library and she was raised there. So she's been there since she was a child, and she loves the library, and she wants to do the people who raised her proud and become a great warden. And she doesn't really have a fear of the grimoires as much as other people around her do. Not that she isn't wary of them, but I guess I'll get into that a little bit later. I might include more of that in I think I'm going to do a spoiler portion at the end. So if you want to know more spoilery thoughts, then feel free to continue all the way to the end. Anyways, so basically what happens is Elizabeth is basically raised to think that sorcerers are evil because they have demon familiars. If you want power, any kind of magical power, you have to make a pact with the demon, and usually it's a contract with your life or something like that, and then there is some kind of physical mark on you to show that you have made a pact with the demon. So Elizabeth, one day, she's woken up, she isn't sure why, and she goes down to the vault where the grimoires are kept, and she finds that the head warden, who basically raised her, is dead, and there's a grimoire on the loose. Basically what happens is they can become, I think it's remnant, I could be wrong on that, but basically they gain a humanoid-like form, and then they can terrorize and kill and do a lot of damage. So Elizabeth ends up defeating it, barely, but the warden is dead, and she's implicated in that crime. So a sorcerer comes to pick her up. She is completely wary of him, does not trust him at all, is just waiting for him to, like, kill her on the way back, and it doesn't end up happening, so she gets kind of confused, and then his manservant Silas is just, like, really confusing to her. She can't quite put her finger on it, but there's something about him that bugs her. So, and I'm sure you can see where that's going. Silas is Nathaniel Thorns, that's a sorcerer. Nathaniel Thorns, demon, familiar person. And he basically raised Silas. How it works in this world is that sorcerers come in lines of families, and the families guard the name of their demon, and then every time the next generation comes, they use the ritual and the demon's name to summon them for the next pact, and it just passed down generation to generation. So in the city outside of the library, sorcerers are actually like really popular, really well known, and like acclaimed, like everyone loves them. It's just the libraries that tend to not like them, apparently, or at least the one where Elizabeth was raised. So Elizabeth is taken to the city to be basically charged to be investigated for the murder for the release of the grimoire. So they end up getting attacked on the way into the city. So Elizabeth is basically absolved of everything that she was charged of. But while she's there, she's taken into the, I think, governor, his household, and yeah, she ends up finding some things out that she wasn't supposed to find out. And come on. Sorry. Anyway, so she ends up finding some stuff that she wasn't supposed to find out. She ends up going back to Nathaniel's place, being like, "Hey, you want to help me?" And he's like, "No, not really." And she's like, "Well, help me anyway." So, he ends up doing that. And yeah, so then they have a little bit of adventure together, and it's very exciting, and it's very well done. It is bigger than Sorcery of Thorns, Enchantment of Ravens. Like, you compare the two, you can see. Enchantment of Ravens has about 300 pages. This one has about 453. So it's about probably 55 more pages than Enchantment of Ravens. There's more in it, so I'm glad there is, for sure. And yeah, it was a good book. It was really fun to read. I loved Silas and his relationship with both Elizabeth and Nathaniel. I thought it was fantastic and amazing. I did feel like this romantic relationship between Nathaniel and Elizabeth was a little more rushed than Isabel and Brooke in Enchantment of Ravens. Again, the same principle applies in that they're kind of forced together in an adventure and situations where they had to trust, like they had to choose to trust each other. And I honestly, definitely feel like that made a big impact, because if you don't trust someone, I mean, then, you're not going to get feelings for them, I believe. So, Nathaniel had his own reasons for doing that, but as it is, it was still cute, it was still good, and I'm glad that they happened. So yeah, good book. I enjoyed it. And now we're going to go into spoilers. Okay, so if you have not read this book and you want to, then I would suggest leaving, because I'm going to talk about stuff that happens throughout the book that could be spoilerish and kind of ruin it. So anyways, okay, so the bad guy is the governor, and his ancestor basically wanted to summon the king of all demons, or the most powerful demon there is. And yeah, that's a bad idea. But, people, they decide they want to fulfill their ancestors' quest, and they're like, "Oh, I can totally control this super powerful god, of the demons." No, bad idea. So anyways, so since Elizabeth finds out what's going on, the governor actually sends her to this mental hospital where she's basically going to be restrained and everything. She ends up being able to escape thanks to the help of one of the girls who works there, and then she ends up she runs into Nathaniel before she can get, not Nathaniel, Silas, before she can get all the way back to Nathaniel's house, and it's so exciting! Nathaniel I just think Nathaniel's so precious. He lost his family at a very young age. He had his bond with Silas at the age of 10 or 12. It's so young, because his brother and his mom died in an accident, and then his dad kind of went mad wanting to bring them back to life, and his dad ended up being killed because the spell was too much for him. So it was just, man, it was so sad. When you find that out, and he just doesn't want to care for anyone else. He has not chosen anyone to be with so they can pass on the legacy, because his family's the only one who can control the grimoire of raising people from, his family's known because they can, they were able to raise people from the dead, necromancy. And yeah, it just, so many feels. And Silas, oh my goodness, he's a demon, and they're supposedly, they don't have emotions, and they're not, you can't trust them, even if it may seem like it, you can't. And at the end, when he was because when Elizabeth she offered some of her life in addition, so Nathaniel was the main holder, but she was kind of onto it as well, so she could release Silas, from the bond. So she ended up doing that when they just couldn't take care of the demon anymore. And when he turned back into like an uncontrollable demon, like he told her, like, don't do it, like, I'm a monster and I will kill you, like, you know, in this form I am bound, but otherwise I am not, like, do not do it. And she did it, and he was like, had Nathaniel at the throat, and Nathaniel was like, I'm sorry, like, I know it hurts and I forgive you. And like Silas is all like, he like remembers himself, and he like goes to take care of the demon. And then at the end, when Elizabeth had the idea to summon Silas by his Silas name instead of his Celatherial, however that was, oh my gosh, I was like, There's a lot of exciting things that happen, so I get all excited about it, sorry. But I really think you guys would enjoy it. So yeah, that's my review. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Make sure to like this video if you did, and make sure to comment below. Let me know if you liked this book, and if you did, if there are any other books you'd recommend that you think I'd like. I'd love to hear about them. Please make sure to subscribe to my channel to get more videos. Wow, I just totally blanked on that word. Make sure to subscribe to my channel if you want to see more videos like this. I'm trying to post a weekly vlog every Sunday so you can see what I've been reading that week, as well as a video like, you know, an unboxing or a book haul or a book review. So yeah, make sure to watch me, and yeah, I will see you guys next time. Have a great rest of your day and keep reading your fairy tales. Bye.